Jenkins Elite. He knows how to watch film like nobody I've ever seen. I love his takes. We are happy to have him back. Once again, Tim Jenkins, thanks for coming on.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up. For a while there, I thought this was going to be a very happy Tuesday, and we're bummed.
I'm scared. I'm scared because this is real, right? What we're about to do right now, Tim. You're about to take us through what you saw last night, and I guess I want to start off with this. What did we learn about Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams from last night's game?
Let's talk with the positives. I think first, for me, the biggest positive was, I think, what every Bears fan is probably feeling, which is, hey, we finally scored on an opening drive, right? I think when you watch the film, what I took away was we played really fast, decisive, efficient on the opening drive, as you would expect, right? They're all scripted. We've repped these a ton. And then it started slowly getting back to flashes of brilliance. Hey, we seem uncertain with our eye placement. We seem uncertain with our feet. I joked about it on the breakdown, right? I broke down 27 clips today. I kind of joked about it, which is like, listen, as someone who's analyzed the Bears a lot, I'm learning alongside this offense, I feel like, right? Because for me, it's like I don't have 17 games of Ben Johnson to say like, oh, hey, here's where our eyes definitely need to be. I'm sitting there kind of saying, okay, hey, where do I think I would want my quarterback's eyes on this play? Unfortunately, it felt a lot of times like I'm sitting there scanning the field right alongside Caleb Williams, which is not what should be happening, right? I shouldn't be sitting in my office in Denver thinking, I'm not sure where I'd put my eyes, and then simultaneously our guy on Monday Night Football, more or less based on his footwork and his eye placement, it kind of felt the same. So I think that first drive, there's a lot of positive takeaways. After that, it kind of just felt like we were back in this roller coaster of we would make really high-end plays that I don't think there's many guys in the NFL that can make, but we just didn't make enough of the boring plays to run an efficient offense.
I think that was a really good point, Tim. It felt like that watching it for us as well. I think Marshall and I talked about it. Mark Grote was at the game last night. The first drive felt disruptive. The first drive felt like, oh, these are different things. We all said as a collective, we feel like it was very clear that the objective was do not get sacked. Whatever you do, come hell or high water, do not get sacked. Then we saw more of the typical behavior we had seen where, yes, on the run, the throws are there. You know, the beautiful plays, the stuff that makes a highlight reel. There's no doubt that talent is evident. It's just, what are you doing with the boring stuff? What are you doing in the pocket? What was your impression of, for example, what Caleb Williams did in the pocket after drive number one?
Well, and this is where I'm not going to give like a great answer for the fans, but like, honestly, the frustrating part for me is I don't know truly what's getting coached in that building, right? Like we none of us really know, hey, we know what they're saying forward facing to the media. We don't know what's actually getting coached in the quarterback room. Here's what I'll tell you is I'm going to sound a little funky saying this based on everything that you heard on the broadcast on Monday night and everything that I feel like Ben's been saying to the media. We got to hold the ball a split second longer. And I don't mean that as in we need to hold the ball and scramble around and make a play. But man, we had some shots downfield that if he doesn't get to if he gives one more hitch, one more reset, and doesn't get to his back so fast, we're generating huge chunk plays versus, hey, flipping it out to Swift, which, on the first drive looked good. There were a couple later. But if we're being honest, after that, it was more or less like we're dirting these flat routes, right? It wasn't like, those first few drives, you saw him throw the floater out to Swift and Swift gets 10 yards. We didn't see that a ton, really, especially after the phantom hold, right, which kind of backed him up, which, again, that was a terrible break for the offense. But, man, there's some stuff downfield that if we have a click longer or if we just hold up in protection ever so slightly, they ran a pistol concept. If you want to sound smart at your football tailgate, right? Pistol, we got a post and an in, right? Pistol, post in. We had a pistol concept where DJ Moore's on the post. The safety jumps the in route. He's wide open. He is, as open as they get. But guess what? We have a run through, and then that's the one that turns into the scramble where the Viking linebacker, he pulls his hamstring. Caleb gets 18 yards, points for the first down. Everybody's excited, but listen, it should have been a touchdown. And if you throw that touchdown, we run the Vikings out of the building, right? We had a lot of chances in an offense to finish the game, right? To get it to where it's truly unreachable. Instead, we never really delivered that blow. They hang around, a couple of things break their way, and and now we're sitting here talking about, man, everybody's frustrated versus, hey, Ben Johnson's 1-0, the Bears are going in the right direction. So to me, it's like, man, if he can hold it a split second longer on those shot plays, I think we're in a way better spot as an offense.
So then I think, and you could tell me if I'm right or wrong, that Caleb Williams, at least for this night, was consumed to a large degree with not taking sacks. Like, it seemed like that was then one of the number one edicts was, I'm guessing, from Ben Johnson was, whatever you do, don't take the sacks. If you have to, get out of there and run your ass off, because there were many times last year where he would just sit in the pocket too long and like the coverage would just fold around him and he would just become smothered. So do you think that that has something to do with it, as opposed to maybe the offensive line not giving him the time?
I think, hey, there's run-throughs, right? If you have run-throughs as an O-line, listen, I coach third grade tackle football for my oldest son. We got run-throughs too, right? It's going to happen at every level. Like, run-throughs are run-throughs. They are what they are. But you're dead on from that standpoint. And I think it's so funny because it's such a fine line, right? Holding the ball, to me, has always applied in quick game and downfield. So downfield meaning 12 yards and underneath, quick game meaning minus line of scrimmage to 5, right? That's where to me, I've never wanted to see quarterbacks hold the ball in downfield or quick game, right? Hey, get through your progression, get the ball to your hand, scramble, throw it away, whatever it is. Shot plays, this is where the nuance of the coaching comes in, because it's like quick game downfield, we don't want to hold the ball, we don't want to take sacks. But shot plays, man, we're calling them for a reason, right? We got to look on tape, whatever it is. We love this play. We want to generate the home run. That's where it's like, man, hey, can we hold it a split second longer? Can we navigate the pocket just a little bit more before we call it a fire drill, right? Before we full blow out of there, right? Can we just navigate the pocket, massage the pocket a little bit more to drive the ball down the field? So it's like, I'm sure you're dead on in that Ben's been hammering him. Hey, don't hold the football, don't hold the football. Where to me, it's like, I need to see, I want to see that growth is, can we get the ball out of our hands in quick game and downfield? And then when we know, hey, this is a premier play against a premier look, can we hold it that split second longer? And then, and again, I'm not knocking Caleb. I'm just saying, like, in general, be knowledgeable enough in this offense to know I have this premier play. Let me hold it. Because if you were sitting there and on that pistol concept, and you saw Caleb take a sack because he was trying to navigate the pocket, but you saw DJ Moore wide open, to me on tape, that's not an awful sack. That's a quarterback who knows, man, I've got a great look. This is exactly what we want. I'm going to try to navigate the pocket to throw a touchdown. Now, if you are holding the ball and we're running sticky, right, a stick and an arrow, get it out of your hand, right? That's nightmare fuel. But the concepts that are there, it's almost like I almost want to see him aware enough of, hey, I can hold the football on this play because we have a great look. And at times I felt like it's like 3rd and 12. Hey, just flip it out there. And it's like, shoot, man, we got DJ Moore. He just killed this corner on 3rd and 12 on just what we would call in Oklahoma, a 6-step speed out. He's wide open, and we're just flipping it out to our tight end. And it's like, dude, let's hang on that one. That's one that we can hang on. And that's what I'm guessing are the conversations right now in the building, honestly.
We're talking football with Tim Jenkins. He have T Jenkins Elite on Twitch. He's also on YouTube. You can check out his breakdown on the Bears here on Rahimi Harris with Mark Grote on 670 The Score. And I forgot to mention, he's also on Twitch. He has a great background in his office. You can check that out, twitch.tv/Chicago 670 The Score. One of the things, Tim, that I do want to talk about as far as scheme and what we've been able to see out of how the offense is constructed was the use of pre-snap motion. I know that is a huge difference from what we saw the Bears do last year. Not only that, but there were different kinds of motion. We saw the motion being utilized to try to show different looks from the Vikings to get information. I know that that's going to come with some false start penalties. I understand that. It's not why I'm as concerned in week 1, although they did hurt. What did you think of what you saw out of how this offense is constructed to have more of that pre-snap?
I mean, I think you nailed it, right? Way more than we've ever seen from a Bears offense in recent history. So to me, it's like, I think they were doing a good job with it. I think obviously you're dead on from the standpoint of, operationally it kind of was a little messy, right? And I think what we sometimes take for granted too is getting out of the huddle operationally. Every shift, every motion, right? That's 4 more words. You know what I mean? You're sitting there and you're in, hey, instead of just saying twins right, yo, for the formation, you're saying, hey, twins right, yo, F counter, or hey, blast to twins right, yo, F counter. So that, you're adding verbiage. So then you're a little bit slower to the line. Then you're trying to, one of the motions early where Caleb burned the timeout, you could tell it was what we would call like a counter motion where they come across the center and then return to their spot. You could tell he's trying to get the guy to shorten it. Like he was saying, hey, just go back. He just wanted a quick one because he knows, okay, I got 3, 2, and then 1, and then he burns the timeout. So, of course, you're going to get those pre-snap. You're going to get a couple of penalties. We got to get that cleaned up. You're going to get a couple of operational things. I mean, shoot, it even showed up on the second to last play, right? We timed the motion wrong, and DJ gets hit with the football on whatever chunk play we were trying to generate at the end. So, to me, I think I'm more optimistic like you, I would say, of, hey, I think this offense needs it. It's going to give us some more man zone indicators. It's going to give us some leverage wins at times, right? There were a couple of third downs that we just stole it, where it's like, hey, we use motion to get outside leverage. We run it out. We hit him. Like those are the kind of things that in the NFL, if you can convert a 3rd and 6 by just stealing it with a leverage motion, how great is that? So I do think it's going to be positive for this offense. You nailed it, though. It's going to come with the growing pains, whether those be, a delay of game, getting out of the huddle late, or our line just not used to the double cadence that comes along with it. I think they'll clean those things up quickly, though. If there was anything that I was going to kind of bet on cleaning up from, week 1 to 2 to 3, I think it's those kind of operational items.
Tim, I'm curious, after you evaluated the film from this first game and understanding how there will be growing pains along the way, my biggest issue right now is just the straight up accuracy of Caleb Williams, whether that's getting it to his receiver or just the ball placement when he does. How long should we expect this to take to catch up to maybe what Ben Johnson's drawing up and what he wants out of his quarterback? Is that a half the season thing? Is that a all season long thing? How would you characterize that?
I mean, listen, I don't know, you guys need me. You guys are nailing it, if I'm being honest with you. I think that's to me, the biggest concern too, because you can live with the fact that, hey, okay, a couple of these concepts, I think his eyes were in the wrong spot. We're going to get it coached up. We had guys open, right? I always joke about them. They're concept dimes, meaning, hey, our coach dialed it up. We won. We just need to give it an easy football, right? If you're scheming guys open in the NFL, you're doing a good job. So there were a lot of concept wins out there, right? A lot of concept dimes where guys are open. The thing that you hinted at, which is the concern, is we had a couple that were just flat out weird misses, like not what we're used to seeing Caleb do, or really any quarterback we hold in that high standard in the NFL, right? You throw a Tim Jenkins out there, sure, we're going to miss DJ Moore by a mile on 4th down, right? That's if you want to see that, you come watch my family turkey bowl. I'm doing the same thing. So to me, it's like, I think the biggest area of concern is some of these checkdowns were kind of dirting them. We had a couple of big misses, even the Komet seam late, like, Cole makes a heck of a play there. The Rome one on the corner, you kind of say, okay, hey, there's that flash again where that's just a great football. Rome's got to make that catch. So, I mean, I'm with you. If there is any, I don't think the eye's in the wrong spot. I don't think the operational things week 1 are a reason to panic. I really don't. I think, hey, we'll grow. That to me is a cause of major concern if you're sitting there saying, hey, we've got guys open, our footwork was right there, and we just airmailed it. Like, that's unacceptable. That that DJ Moore ball late, there's some throws that you sit there and you go, man, this is not who we've come to know. Like, I don't remember seeing that on tape last year from Caleb, really, right? Where it's like, hey, just a flat out bad miss. And there's 3 or 4 that you could point to, including the Rome 3rd down where he's just way behind him in kind of the screen game. So that's, if you were if you were one of those guys who you don't like Caleb Williams, that's what you point to this week and say, that's giant issues that I don't know how fixable they are truly in season. If we're just flat out spraying it, that's a huge issue.
What if you do like Caleb Williams? You mentioned the great throw to Rome that Rome missed. What was good from Caleb Williams that you saw, Tim?
I mean, if you want to sell the optimism sell to me is when his eyes were in the right spot, his feet were in the right spot, he was playing really good football. Like, and I know people don't like it, but that first check, the second check down of the night where the Minnesota Vikings all bail out of there and he just gets it to his back right over the middle and it's a 10-yard gain. That's good football, right? Anytime you see a Mike linebacker plus 10, you get to your back right away. That's good football. The scramble TD, all the scrambles, like there's not a lot of guys right now taking snaps under center in the NFL that can get out of some of the stuff he was getting out of last night. So to me, like those are the things you build on. The Rome scramble ball, like that's as flat out as good as it gets. To me, like there were a couple of DJ Moore shots where DJ holds up on the in route, he bangs him. Again, like the velo that it takes to make that throw to where then there's yak after, that's as good as it gets. If you're in the optimistic camp, you're saying also from an operational standpoint, a lot of people act like, hey, it's not that hard. Getting out of the huddle with some of those paragraph play calls, like that was really good work, really good movement in the right direction. So to me, that's kind of like what you could hang your hat on. You could say, okay, hey, we got a lot of operational stuff out of there. When he was in the right spot, he played efficiently. Now it's about getting his eyes into the right spot more often or cleaning up the concepts from a progression standpoint, right? Like I'm putting this all at the feet of Caleb just because we've seen what Ben Johnson's offense was like with Goff after a couple of years doing it. So a lot of me thinks, okay, hey, Caleb was probably in the wrong spot. Listen, if on some of those concepts, Ben was coaching him to have his eyes there, Ben's got to clean that up too, right? Like simultaneously, this is the relationship aspect of it of, I'm saying a lot of stuff's on Caleb. That very well could be, hey, they coached him to put his eyes there first, and they need to clean it up and get his eyes in a different spot.
If you want to see more from Tim Jenkins, you can go to his YouTube page, All Things QB, hosted by Tim Jenkins. His Caleb Williams breakdown in the same Twitch background he has now is already up to about 5,000 views. We'll give you a few more. Tim Jenkins, we're looking forward to having you on every week. Thanks again.